Our second keynote speaker, Donna Dewitt, can be and is. Donna Dewitt is a labor leader and force for progressive politics in South Carolina, serving as president of the AFL-CIO and co-chair of the Progressive Network in the Palmetto State. She is also a force within the national anti-war movement as a member of the National Steering Committee of U.S. Labor Against War and the National Assembly to End U.S. Wars and Occupations. Her contributions with the latter group is where I have had the privilege to know her. Donna is a voice for clarity and reason. Her awareness of the balance between vision and practicality have helped move along discussions toward prophetic yet sensible decisions. While at times her Southern twang hasn't always been the easiest for we Northerners to decipher, her message of building unity for ending wars and occupations have always been unmistakably clear. Please welcome Donna DeWitt.
Yes, I'm from another planet, South Carolina. During the Iraq War debate on the U.S. Senate floor, Senator Robert Byrd, West Virginia, referred to war in relation to the impact on the common people. So let's define us as a common people. For most of us in this room, we've been described as progressive, liberal, militant. Then there are other common people described as Bible-toting, flag-waving conservatives. They want less government spending on services and more tax cuts. We want less government spending on wars and occupations and more services to the people. They want accountability in government. And they want to throw those rascals out in Washington that don't vote for their views. Well, we want accountability in government too. And we want to throw out those rascals in Washington that say one thing and vote contrary to their commitment. Guess what? Many times they're the same rascals, okay? They want to defend the United States and destroy anyone they fear would harm us. We want to defend all people of the world from the devastation of wars and occupations and create a peace that will unite all countries. Now, leaders before us have been unable and many times unwilling due to overwhelming obstacles to define and achieve extraordinary goals for a common people. Well, there are many issues that can divide us and consume our time. It's imperative that we recognize the common goals that may be established within the time frame of this conference. Otherwise, history will repeat itself. How then can we accomplish what is seemingly impossible? The organizers of the National Peace Conference are to be commended for establishing an environment that is conducive to the work before us. A democratic process, mutual respect and trust that were critical and expected for all participants in the conference planning. And let me say, Joe Lombardo and the New York activists have worked diligently to make the arrangements and welcome all of us to Albany. Thank you, Joe. The committees have thoughtfully considered and provided experts on the many issues that confront our country and the countries of the world for this conference. In the workshops, the committees have done a remarkable job. Let's give them a hand. Now, it's our responsibility as the delegates to this conference to allow this process to produce results that will make a difference for the common people. Let's begin by being committed leaders. You have made tremendous efforts and perhaps sacrifices to be part of this momentum. So let's get it right. Many times leaders make foregone decisions to avoid the tough decisions. Okay? This occurs far too often in our own organizations, as it does in the political world. It's difficult to hold politicians accountable if we are not willing to hold our own leaders accountable. Let's begin internally. If you're not willing to make a commitment as a leader, then you probably won't be able to make or define extraordinary goals for common people. So, like my friend Alan Benjamin, who can't be with us, with the Workers' Emergency Recovery Campaign and other labor leaders, I see the emergence of leadership from within labor with the endorsement and the support of the AFL-CIO for the October 2nd actions for jobs, peace, and justice. This is an important step that many of us have waited for. U.S. Labor Against the War worked diligently to bring this discussion to the floor of the AFL-CIO convention in 2009 to pass a resolution. So, let's respectfully consider the whole, appreciate our diversity. There's so many empowered leaders, youth and senior, that are gathered this weekend, and we've arrived with so many emotions. The glaring impact of the economic crisis that confronts the nations of the world is a manifestation of a global capitalist society that has historically and continually sought to control the common people. The United States continues a stronghold of expanding control of the common people with wars and occupations that have expended the financial, security, and general welfare of our nation while contributing to the growth and the wealth and the power of the capitalists. It's important that we recognize and honor our differences to attain our goals this weekend. While we may represent our respective organizations, we are here to consider those actions that we can collectively agree upon. Many organizations and leaders also, and in particular leaders, are focused on survival, which often creates obstacles to the ability to accomplish goals, as well as failing to create coalitions that could strengthen our causes. Once again, I implore you to commit to put aside your personal agendas to work toward the common goals for a long-term strategy to unite the movement. Now, I received a call from Estelle Layton. Estelle is a senior activist in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. She's in her 80s, and she was unable to attend. So she asked me to share her website with you. It's letusgo@earthlink.net. And there you can read her letter to U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder regarding her charges of murder against former President Bush. And she would like for all of you to join her by forwarding a letter to Holder as well. Estelle, like many seniors in this room, have a lifetime of experience, and she has much more to give. We must be willing to listen if we are to gain from their experiences. And then I contacted Russell Bannon, a young union activist in Denver, Colorado. Russell and fellow activists of the Colorado Young Workers Project, they gave me thoughtful insight that revealed generational differences, and I consider that most valuable to a more complete understanding of a younger generation's perspectives of the wars and occupations. Most alarming is that these young people see no hope for the American dream, and they are desperately seeking leaders that can communicate with them. Now, it's imperative that we're open to these discussions. So Russell, Chase, and Kate took all modes of transportation to get here, and let's congratulate them. By air, by bus, by foot, they're here. So also, having the opportunity to meet these young people, and like Scott from New York, who always seeks me out at actions across the country, provides me a new vision that can unite us. So now I have a special request of all of the baby boomers, myself included. Yeah, we were wonderful. We did it all. And by now, everybody knows this. Okay? We witnessed the devastation of war and the assassination of our country's leaders. These events impacted and molded our lives. We're still wonderful. But think about it. Our grandkids, proudly display our beloved peace signs and have it painted on their parts of their body that we didn't think of in the 60s. So let's be graceful, baby boomers. Move over and share the stage, okay? All right? Okay. Russell, come up. Scott, come up. Y'all come sit up while I finish. Okay. Here comes Russell. Where's Scott? Kate, Chase. Young people, come up so they can see you. All right. Where's Scott? All right, where's Scott? And the young lady that was with us last night. Scott's my homeboy. He's from South Carolina, folks. And they're headed back, and they don't know where they're flying from. They think Philadelphia. So here's an opportunity for us. So over 40 years ago, my two assistants, Cindy and Linda, and Cindy's with me, we began our work with our union, CWA Local 3719, and we served as officers of our local. And upon retiring from Bell South after 30 years, now AT&T, I asked them to join me at South Carolina AFL-CIO to assist with a campaign that was known as the Charleston Five. Yeah. There were many of you that were with us for the rally of approximately 4,500 union and community activists from around the world in Columbia, South Carolina, to defend 5 longshoremen convicted of conspiring to incite a riot. And after an 18-month campaign, we were victorious in having those charges dropped. Ten years later, Cindy and Linda are still working with me in the many struggles workers continue to face. It's our constant hope to share these experiences with a new generation of leaders, and that they will develop a sense of commitment to justice and peace that provides them with memories as cherished as the ones we hold dear. So for many different reasons, we decided to travel to Albany and put our hopes in this conference. For too many, like my friend Elaine Johnson, who could not be here, Cindy Shaheen, and other Gold Star moms, excuse me, their hopes are buried among the tragedies of war. Due to their losses, they've struggled with the demons of war, and how do we restore their hope? How do we do that? Well, Maud asked the question this morning, what are the most important groups that can make a difference? And I would say to her in response, you are collectively the most important group to the future of our country. It's your visions. Look around this room at your banners, at the faces. Look around the room and see the faces. Deliberate. Share your visions. Please be thoughtful, considerate, and cautious, because if we fail to build a big tent, we will not be able to deliver on the visions that brought us to this place. Let it be remembered that there is a new course for the common people. It began in Albany, New York, July the 23rd through the 25th of 2010. We joined together community activists and labor activists. It began with Estelle reaching out and asking you to grab her hand. Then you reached over and placed your hand in Russell's hand and said, we're going to change our country and maybe the world. We're going to offer hope to the common people. It will begin here, now in Albany, with you. Thank you.